This is an issue collection book of like September through December issues of 2017, and it is titled Language of Untamed Spirit.
Did you give her that book, the other one, the cc&d?
No.
No, I
Did she ask?
No.
What do you do? Press the thing that says camera. See the blue bar that says camera? Press on that. Do you know how to press a button that says camera?
I pressed. Now I'm getting depressed.
Yeah, so am I, Angel.
I'm not making pretensions.
I'm sure you're not.
Hey,
So I thought I would pull some things from this and some maybe things that would lift your spirits. This one is titled Mapping the Way to True Love. I've always taken charge and led the way, but even on my own, I accomplished more than anyone. I was invincible. I was doing so well, I quit my job as an art director for the second largest city in the States, kept paying for my Chicago apartment, and traveled around the country by car, until I was stopped at a light, and one car slammed into me, and then another. Then I fought for my life. And this sounds very sad, and I'm telling you, it was. But this is a part of my invincible life, because doctors from other floors in the hospital read my records and called me Miracle Girl because of my miraculous recovery. But it was the first time in my invincible life when I felt alone, because the only thing missing from my invincible life was true love. You know the kind, because in this hectic modern world, it's next to impossible to find your philosophical equal. So now, because I'm a journalist forced to take the train because my car was totaled, I'd ask passengers questions. Tell me something about yourself. Because my life was almost taken away, I wanted to learn everything about life I could, so let me at least vicariously live. Tell me something about yourself. And one man answered in the cold of January while I kept myself covered in a coat, hat, scarf, gloves. He asked me what book I was currently reading. I said a philosopher's name, and he said he knew their writing. He had read their novels, then he started naming their non-fiction books. He even said he had read a lexicon of their philosophy. I stopped him. You're telling me that you read a dictionary? He said yes, and the information came in quite handy in his life. So on our first date, we talked philosophy more than half of the night, when not asking each other vague, tell me about yourself questions. And though we had only known each other for 2 weeks, when Valentine's Day came, he decided to give me an expansive map of the United States, because I had just traveled it. He carried this large tube to work on Valentine's Day. A co-worker saw it and inquired. When he said he was giving his girl a map for Valentine's Day, the co-worker laughed. Oh my gosh, she's going to hate that. Women want chocolates and flowers, he said. But when I got the map, I asked if it was okay if I kept it curled up until we had a home for it. When I look up in my office, I see that map on the wall. And when I walk out of my office, I see a wall displaying his guitars. He likes that I want to display his music, and he likes that I'm a creative person with an engineering side, because he's an engineering person with a creative side. But that shouldn't surprise him, and it shouldn't surprise him that we were engaged 4 times longer than we dated. Yes, our dating was accelerated because not many people talk philosophy on their first date, and not many people realize, even before they started dating, that they can't be without the other. Because now that we found each other, we want to lock hands and scour those maps, because we want to see every part of the world together. Because when you get to this point, celebrating alone isn't celebrating, and living alone isn't living, when you could be with your one true love.
Right on.
Oh, happy
Now it's 4 minutes to 3. so I thought maybe I should finish up the.
Oh,
Was it a book police going to kick us out sometime?
3 o'clock, Dave. We've got 1 to 3.
I was gonna say, could I do one short one called
Yeah, sure.
this just one book?
Yeah, she made Janet.
If you're looking for these, this is an appropriate one to end with. This is called Just One Book, which is appropriate in the bookstore. I wore my older sister's communion veil, playing dress-up in my imaginary wedding. I read my older sister's prayer book, wondering who can hand me my answers. But mangled in a maelstrom of religions, I was left lost, searching for salvation. After years ticked by, it was only then when my Judeo-Christian boyfriend gave me a book. It didn't quite fit in with his beliefs, but he told me to give it a read. Now, I remember reading books where I'd have to tell myself to read 50 pages a day so I could get through it, but after reading any passage, I honestly couldn't tell you what I had just read. But this book was like no other. It spoke to me philosophically, and it managed to show me how to live. You didn't think that you can get so much from just one book, and it's true. Afterward, I swooped up as much reading as I could on the subject, and it still stuns me, though, that just one book could pull me on a track on how to think through life, because suddenly all my reasoning made sense. With this one book, I learned how to fit the pieces together, and suddenly my life made sense. I didn't think that just one book could do that to a person, but I'm a living testament to the message, and like I'm putting my hand on a Bible, I'll swear to this day that just the right book in just the right hands of just the right minds can really give the world clarity and transform everything perfectly.
Well said.
Oh, cool.
Amen.
I figured it's a good book one for the ending. Thank you.